Welcome everyone to the Cleveland Clinic. This is typically where we have you over for breakfast and talk to you about the awesome aspects of our program. But today we're going to be doing that live from our resident room. So we're here in our work offices here with our comfy little couch, our pictures, and this is a window overlooking Cleveland, Ohio, as you could have, I'm sure, have guessed. My name is Kevin Contra. I'm one of the fifth-year residents, and I'm here joined with...
I'm Sarah. I'm one of the PGY4s, so I'll be one of your chiefs next year.
And I'm Cash, one of the PGY2s.
And we're just going to talk to you about some of the aspects of the program that we love.
So welcome everyone. So our program is a 5-year program. We take 4 residents a year starting this following year. Our internship year is 6 months ENT and 6 months what we traditionally have as off-service rotations. That includes ICU, 2 months of general surgery, neurosurgery, plastics, and we've added now an emergency medicine rotation as well. During our PGY2 to PGY5 years, our program is designed in a subspecialty format where we go through rotations, focusing on one subspecialty at a time, allowing for continuity, both in terms of content, but also with your staff, as well as the team that you work with. And then in addition, we have an awesome rotation at Metro Health, the local hospital here, who's a level 1 trauma, and we get an amazing acute trauma experience there as well. The name Cleveland Clinic precedes itself, and we know the international recognition it receives on a yearly basis. We have an endless supply of resources. It's constantly growing, both when it comes to on an institute level as well as on a hospital-wide level. Our healthcare delivery is leading edge on an international level. We have presence both in the Middle East as well as in Europe and as well as elsewhere, Canada, and elsewhere in the United States as well. As employees of the hospital, we have exceptional benefits, so I could go on and on about Cleveland Clinic and what it provides us. As far as the teaching goes, which is the main reason we're here as residents, we have multiple different facets of introduction of teaching into our curriculum. We have staff-led lectures on a twice weekly basis. That is traditionally a lecture format with oral presentation as well as oral board style teaching. We have temporal bone labs on a monthly basis where we have opportunity to drill in the temporal bone lab led by senior residents as well as giving opportunity to junior residents to get good experience with drilling in the temporal bone lab. In addition, we have journal clubs that we do on a monthly basis. One of the advantages of that is we tend to do it in a place where we're able to be at a local restaurant. It allows for some socialization and drinks. We have cosmetic workshops that we do pretty much quarterly when we learn to do Botox and fillers, and those are led by our facial plastic staff. We do cadaveric dissections. We're really lucky to have Dr. Drake as our anatomy, as well as associated with the medical school, so we have an endless supply of cadavers that we're really grateful to have access to and be able to practice, whether it's procedures or just doing anatomy refreshers. We have multiple yearly courses, including airway, microsurgery. We work with the Stryker labs. We have cochlear implant course. The list goes on. And in addition, one thing that really drew me here is we do a lot of mission trips. Previous places have included the Philippines as well as Peru.
Yeah. So, in these pictures here, you see us in our cadaver lab. These are really awesome. Our head and neck staff often will bring us down there. We'll do, a lecture on laryngectomies, for example, and then we'll have a bunch of bodies and seniors, and the staff will lead juniors through neck dissections, laryngectomies. We can practice for a case if you're doing a case with our staff, and sometimes, it's kind of a surgery that we don't do very often. You can go down there with the staff the day before, kind of look, do a dry run essentially on a cadaver, and that resource is pretty invaluable to us.
The repertoire and the... Oh, let's start over. When it comes to our staff, we're really grateful to say that we are fortunate to have some of the leaders in each subspecialty from across the world. That includes our head and neck staff. We have 6 different head and neck staff that we work with closely. We have 4 rhinology, skull-based surgeons. We have real good representation from a general and sleep standpoint with 5 different surgeons. We have 4 really strong pediatric otolaryngology surgeons that we work with. laryngology. We have 3 different, we're really grateful to have that. And then facial plastics and recon are presented with an additional four staff members. And now we have 4 neurotologists as well. So real covered in all subspecialties.
And one thing too that I think really makes the difference is not just the experience that you have in the OR with these staff, and that's obviously paramount, but the bigger thing is how they're treating you beyond the walls of the hospital. And I can say, and these are some of the pictures of places that our staff have welcomed us into, including their homes, their pools, at their baby showers, on their boats at Lake Erie, at their lounge at the Cavs game, or even their son's gymnasium for a charity wrestling match when the rhinology fellow one year may have been a little too proud of his experience. Nevertheless, we do everything together as a family, and you really feel that from start to finish during your day. The last thing we always include is an homage to Christine. You'll realize how important it is to have a good coordinator as a resident. We have an exceptional one, and we're very fortunate to have Christine. She is the proprietor of all these snacks that are surrounding us. She makes sure all of us are taken cared for, and we couldn't be more grateful to have her.
Yeah, she really is a program mom to us, and she takes really good care of us. We are very, very lucky to have her.
Building on our experience with the staff and as well as what the curriculum looks like, it's important to mention research. In our curriculum, we have built in a 3-month dedicated period of time where you can work on research. We have full-time research coordinators available, as well as statisticians. Even as a PGY2, I've already had so many great experiences being able to get projects moving and have staff and coordinators that are willing and able to get Institute Review Board on moving quicker and results in quicker. We have excellent medical artwork available to us, and we have an actual dedicated department for that. We get fully funded for 2 conferences per year. And what's really important to recognize as well, which I love about our program, is how much research you want to do depends on you. If you want to do 3-4 publications a year, you can do that or more. But if it's not part of your goals or your personal plan, you're not pushed to do that. For example, our current PGY 4 to 5s, they range between anywhere as 1 to 30 publications. So that's really going to be on you what you want to accomplish in your years here. And addressing the elephant in the room, call. I think it will be really hard to find any programs in the country that have call that's set up so well like ours. We are really grateful that we only take call on one campus and one campus only. We are really, really grateful to be able to take home call, which allows us to be at home as much as possible while being a short distance away from the hospital for any emergencies. And we have tons of resources available to us when we take call. We have multiple rooms, both in the inpatient setting as well as the outpatient side, with basically any supply we need to get us through the tough night. And honestly, I think it would be hard to find anywhere in the country that has a schedule as good as ours. We, as PGY1s, you don't take call at all. We have a buddy call system for about 1 to 2 times a month where you're paired up with one of the PGY2s just to kind of start to get your feet wet and start to get a feel for what call is going to look like for you not long to come. And then as far as PGY2 and 3 and the rest of the years go, if you actually average it out, it ends up being Q8 call, which is pretty awesome.
This is actually a really good example of one of the things that we have improved in our own residency through the strategic planning process, which was something that when Dr. Byrne came on board, he had us as a group go through. So for the past year, at least once a week, we're sitting down together as a collective, trying to figure out ways to improve our program. And so things that we've worked on include things like call, but it extends to a lot of the resources we have, the exposure and experience that we have to different things, the support that we have. And this is really just all a great example of we believe in our program so much is because we've been able to help escalate it to what it is today. And I think the best demonstration of that is where we go on to be and where we go on to and who we go on to be. And a lot of that has to do with fellowships. And certainly if you're not interested in pursuing a fellowship, we support you in that. We have a lot of journalists that come out. But if you are, you're guaranteed to land at a top place. And all 3 of the chiefs this year are pretty fortunate to say that we are heading to our first choices. And we have a diverse representation. It includes head and neck, peds, rhinology, laryngology, plastics. And that's all because of the staff support that we have. I would say having just gone through the process, I was, either in the office or on the phone with my staff on a weekly basis. I'll use the example, I had a letter that I happened to show one of my parents, and that was a mistake because my mom started crying after she read it. So that's the level of support and engagement that you have from staff during this process, and that's why we end up doing so well on the match.
So in case it hasn't been already made abundantly obvious, I just want to really drive home the point that the residents here have we just have so much empowerment to do what we want to do with our program. So the strategic planning process that Kevin was talking about, we were tasked by our new chair who came in to sit down together. We were given protected resident time where for 2 hours a week we all got to sit down together in the mornings, completely protected from clinical duties, where we were asked to think about our program and think about what our values are, what our mission is, what we want to do with this. He came in and said, this is already an amazing program, which it is, but he was like, I want you guys to make it the best program in the country, and that was our plan. And so we came up with a whole list of ways that we thought that the program could be improved, and that it's only been 6 months, but a lot of those things have already been implemented and are in the works. And so, that really, I think brought us all together even more than we were before, but made us really feel like we had so much agency here, as residents.
So hot right now. Say it.
I am going to say
I'm sure you will. I want to hear it.
Okay.
Just take off all your masks. It's getting so hot.
Don't look out the window, but Cleveland, it's so hot right now.
That's perfect. That's amazing.
Is it? Okay. Maybe my favorite, I know a lot of our favorite parts of our typical interview day would have been showing you Cleveland. It is truly one of the most enjoyable aspects of our program, and it's unfortunate we weren't able to show you around town, but we're going to try to give you some of the aspects of the city that we love so much. The thing that I think a lot of people know Cleveland for is a true arts and cultural center. We have some of the best museums in the country. The Cleveland Museum of Art has one of the largest galleries and has one of the largest viewerships in the country. There's also a contemporary arts museum and a number of others, all of which are free and very accessible. The Cleveland Orchestra is widely considered to be among the top 3 orchestras in the world. Severance, its home is right down the street from the clinic, and the summer home, Blossom, is just a few miles away. And I know a lot of the residents actually have season tickets to that, where you go out on the garden and bring some wine and cheese, and it makes for a really awesome night. Continuing on that theme, Playhouse Square, which is Cleveland's theater district, it's the 2nd largest in the country outside of New York. Pretty much all of the big shows that come through from New York en route to Chicago are here, and it's very accessible. Not only are tickets generally cheap, our resident association allows us to partake in pretty much all the big name events in town, all at half price. And so it really is just a matter of signing up for an email list if you want to see something in town. The takeaway is really that if you come to Cleveland, you are going to get a premier metropolitan experience, but you're going to be able to do it at nearly half the price than you would for many of the other major cities in the country. Beyond just all. Okay,
I hope we have.
Here we go.
It's just okay.
I was in speech therapy for like a decade.
Oh,
With
that's
our
so
words.
cute.
So I was trying to say arts. Okay,
That's
here
so
we go.
cute. I'm gonna steal that one.
Alright. Beyond just art. Okay.
That's a blooper.
Alright, ready? Alright. Beyond just arts and culture, Cleveland is well known for its sports teams. We actually have three major sports teams. Cleveland Indians, they've been to the playoffs 4 of the past 5 years, have an awesome manager in Terry Francona, and have been one of the best, tickets in town. Then we have the Browns. Typically, we would tell you we have a football stadium, but we actually have a football team now too that goes along with it. And as a longtime Clevelander, I have season tickets. They're pretty cheap, but the things like tailgates, it's truly an awesome experience. Hopefully, we get back to those things after Corona, but it is a awesome time. Then lastly, we have the Cavs. We're clinging on to our 2016 championship. But actually, we've done well in the draft recently, and we're looking like a pretty good team this year as well. There's pretty much something for everyone in Cleveland. If you're more of an outdoors person, not only do we have seasons, we have some of the best nature that you'll ever find. The Emerald Necklace, which essentially surrounds the greater Cleveland area, is sort of centered around the Cuyahoga Valley National Park and some of the most beautiful environments that you will find.
And then the outdoors provide endless opportunities for kayaking, biking. We have some of the best road bike trails in the United States. Endless hiking trails that you can engage in, and that includes all through the year.
Yeah, and the lake is right there, and so there's a string of beaches along the city that are awesome to go to when the weather's nice. There's a dog beach that some of us bring our dogs to. There's opportunities for boating, for kayaking, paddleboarding, all kinds of water sports on the lake and on the river, and all of that's super easily accessible and really affordable in Cleveland. So yeah, just kind of something for everybody here. Right? And then just to talk about housing a little bit in the city, so the cost of living in Cleveland is super cheap. As residents, none of us make a whole lot of money, and so your money here compared to if you're a resident in a much bigger city where the cost of living is higher, it just goes way further. But just to give you a little bit about housing here, people live kind of on both sides of the clinic in both the east side of Cleveland and the west side of Cleveland. But in terms of what kind of places you can expect to live in when you come here, it's really up to you if you want to live in something that's more urban, like a new condo, brand new kind of luxury condo type thing that's on the west side of Cleveland. There's more of that. If you want to buy a house, I think maybe more than half of our residents actually own houses. So you can live in more of a suburban feel. You can live, closer to the lake. You can live in more of a neighborhood area. The options are kind of endless, and all of it is within financial reach here. The other thing that we wanted to just briefly talk about is this Greater Circle of Living program. Basically the Cleveland Clinic and I think UH and the city all together, they will offer you a $30,000 loan. I think it's an interest-free loan that you don't pay back. So essentially they just give you money, and that goes towards a down payment on a home as long as it's within a certain radius of the hospital. And so I think several of our residents have taken advantage of that and used that towards buying a house. We're just going to quickly show you 2 of our houses now.
This is my favorite part because it includes my dog in the photos, but my wife and I bought our first home together right 5 minutes just east of campus. It was $180,000, 4 bedrooms, brand new, hardwoods, kitchens, everything. And I think our mortgage is like $1,400 a month or so, and it's in 1 block walking distance to like 3 breweries, a historic movie theater, a bunch of awesome cultural restaurants, and so you pretty much can have it all without having to pay for it.
And then I'm renting. I kind of want more of a urban setting, so I'm living in downtown Ohio City. My apartment is about 850 square feet. It's a 1-bedroom, but it's modern. Everything's brand new. It's got a gym right in the building itself, and I'm paying $1,500 a month.
So Cleveland really is kind of an underrated place to live. We love it here so much. I've always lived in bigger cities, and so moving to Cleveland, I just wasn't sure if I was going to like it here, but it turns out it's awesome. Everything that I've loved about other cities I've lived in, I'm able to find here. One of my favorite things about Cleveland actually is the food scene. The restaurants here are amazing. you know, you maybe wouldn't necessarily expect it, but there's so many different restaurants of different kinds. A bunch of famous chefs all have, you know, open little restaurants here. It really is just a fun place to explore for food if you're into food. And then another thing that has really exploded here is the microbrewery scene. I think in the 4 years that I've lived here, there have been at least 20 new microbreweries or nanobreweries that have opened up here, in addition to the ones that were existing before I came. And so beer is something that you love. You know, there's like a beer passport that you can get where you can go to breweries and get stamps. And one of our residents, his 1-year-old baby actually probably has more stamps than I do, but it's a fun thing to do here. The residents here, we all really we're one big happy family. We love each other a lot. We love, you know, residency sometimes can be hard. It's a lot to learn, it's hard work, but we really do love working together. We love working here in Cleveland. Our staff are awesome, and so we really are just one big happy family, and we would love for you to join us here. Anything else to say? I feel awesome. There's more here.
Be a resident. Start the residency.
Yeah, okay. There's too
You can
much
only
talking.
say one. You can only say one big happy family once.
Well,
I
yeah,
know.
once, twice.
We like
Wait, what
each
was
other, I
it?
promise. The residents here are awesome. It's one of my favorite parts about this residency program are the people that we get to work with. We really are just one big happy family. We hang out together outside the hospital. In addition to obviously working together all the time, we get to go to conferences together. We have events and holidays at each other's houses. It's really it makes working together and working the long hours that you do in residency all worth it. We are a pretty diverse group of people. This is just a map of where we all come from. This is from, I think, since 2017, but you know, we all hail from all over the US. Some of us are Canadian, but you know, that we've had some international residents over the years, and just to let you know, we all come from different places, and we've all come to Cleveland to be residents here. So as you can see, we love our program here. We're so happy to be a part of it. We love working together. We love working here, and it's a great place to train. We're so excited that you're interested in our program and that you're interviewing with us, and we would love to answer any more questions that you may have. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see you soon.